We also have our feedback questionnaires again this year. We want to make sure that we are striving for excellence in this and other programs, and we want to know how you feel. Please fill out the questionnaires, and it can be one per couple if you'd like. When placed on the registration table before you leave, we also have a little gift, because you guys know how much I love giving away free stuff. We have these movement disorder water bottles to encourage you not only to drink water, but also to, we also have a number on it just in case you have ever have questions or scheduling conflicts. You can know how to reach us, and hopefully the water bottle is just right in your hand. We are also doing the Ask the Doctor form again. There are papers on your table as well as pens. Please write down your questions as clear as possible, and we'll make sure that they are picked up before lunch and that before that part of our program. So y'all have all the doctors up here answering those important questions that you want to know specifically about. I also hope that you enjoyed our beautiful art in motion exhibit that we have around the room and up in the front foyer. The Art in Motion class is designed to enhance creativity and social engagement. It's free and definitely open for more people. They would love to have you come to their art classes. If you're part of the Art in Motion class, would you raise your hand? The big table there, you guys. You're wonderful artists. Thank you so much for doing that and for the enjoyment of your art in here and all over Gainesville, because I do see it in different places. Let's see. And my last part is approximately 60,000 Americans are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease every year, and this number does not reflect the cases that go undetected. The goal of this symposium is to educate and support the Parkinson's community, to answer questions and show you that you are not alone in this fight, that every day you are overcoming obstacles that you never even knew about. And the Dalai Lama has said that in order to carry out a positive action, we must develop a positive vision. That's what we want to do in our center, that's what we want to do in our symposium. And here's to hoping to encourage more positive vision in you and the Parkinson's community that will always lead to better things. Thank you. Our next speaker is Congressman Ted Yoho, speaking about how to overcome obstacles and adversities in your life. So, Congressman?
Thank you, I appreciate it. How's everybody doing this morning? It's an honor to be here back in Gainesville. Just got back in last night from DC, and it's been a privilege and an honor to represent you for a year up there. We're going into our second year. They asked me to talk about uplifting, motivational things, and overcoming challenges, and I'm like, I don't feel like I have any. But when I talk to people, they say, of course you did. You came from a family that nobody had ever gone to college, got married at 19, and I kept hearing no, no, no all my life. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. And I was sharing with Cammie, I pulled out my comb and I started combing my hair, and she's like, really? I'm like, why? And I had to share a story with her that I pulled out my wallet one time and 2 combs fell on the ground. And there was a guy, he looks at me, he goes, 2 combs? And I said, I'm an optimist. And you can relate to that, can't you, sir? Over there. Carolyn and I, we came from a background, people called it broke, busted, and disgusted. We came, my parents' house got repossessed, they got divorced, and I got repossessed when I was 15. And I moved out at 18, moved out on my own. And Carolyn and I met in 4th grade. We got married at 19. And she's become my best friend. And I shared that with somebody the other day. They said, she's not your best friend. I said, of course she is. He says, no, your dog is. I said, no, Carolyn's my best friend. We met in 4th grade. We grew up together. We know everything about each other. He goes, I tell you what, when you go home, I'll prove this to you. When you go home, lock them both in the car for about 20 minutes and come back and see who likes you better. And I said, you have a point there. I don't think I'll try that, because, but we did. We came from nothing, and people said you couldn't go to bed. You couldn't go to college because nobody in your family had gone to college. I went to college, graduated, came up to the University of Florida. People said you can't go to vet school, you won't be able to get in on your first time. You came from a junior college, you can't get into vet school. you know, and I had people around me telling me that all the time, so I applied, we got in, and then, you know, we built a business. We went strictly large animals, which is horses and cattle mainly, and people said, you can't make a living at that. And then we did, and then I decided to run for Congress, and people says, you have no political experience, you can't do that. And I said, I did, I beg to differ. I've lived on this side of the political world for 58 years, and I know what I don't think works. And so we entered that, and we won kind of a David and Goliath story. People said you couldn't win, and we did. And the point of this is, you know, there are certain things that happen in life that we have no control over. The only thing we have control over is how we respond to things. And that's what I want to share with you, is how we respond to things. And you had brought up, there's about 60,000 new cases a year, roughly 1 billion people in America that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it's an ongoing thing. And this doesn't count for the ones that haven't been diagnosed, the ones that haven't had medical attention or, you know, access to medicine. And it may be a little bit higher. And then if you look at the population over the whole United States, there's about 330 million people in the United States. So it's a low incidence unless it's you. And that's the highest priority in life. Would you all agree with that? And the thing that is so important is how we respond to that. I've not been afflicted by a disease like that, so I don't know how to respond and how to relate to that. But I think everybody here knows somebody that has been afflicted by that, whether you have a family member or not. I've seen professors of mine. Of course, you've had Muhammad Ali and Michael Fox, and you know, when it's a high-profile person that shows up with this, our awareness comes up. But it's how we respond to it, and the thing that is so important, and I think we're all fortunate, and I think we feel this way, living in North Central Florida, especially Gainesville, with the University of Florida here that is doing, you know, the research and putting money in research and development, new treatments, new diagnostics. It's having the support group around you, regardless of what it is. And it's something I had learned. There was a book called Balcony People. And balcony people are the people that you look to in life for inspiration. And then there's what they call basement people. Basement people are the ones that don't want you to have a good life. They're the ones, if you want to aspire to do something else, those are the ones that say you can't do that. What do you think you're different than us? I want to get around the people that says, you know what, we want you to come up here. And that's what I found with the support group around people with me. Family members, social networks, community centers like this. This is an incredible facility. We had the opportunity to come here and tour this about 6 months ago, and I was so impressed with the outreach, the community connection with people helping other people. And I think that's the biggest thing that I see in these groups. I mean, would you agree with that? That people that are out there, the support group around you, that makes life easier. Home care. My mother's 92 years old, and she's fallen and broken both hips. She can get up, she can walk a little bit, but she's in home hospice care. And my brothers, I have 2 brothers that have come down and live full time with her, my sister-in-law. If it wasn't for that support team around her, it would be a whole different story. And that's why I just think these kind of centers are so great. The University of Florida and those kind of areas. Being up in Congress, I've got a strong medical background with sciences and the STEM programs. I've been fortunate to visit the National Institute of Health and Dr. Collins, who's the director of that, and knowing that the research that they're putting into this, you know, the new techniques that are coming out with diagnostics, whether it's through the different tests like CAT scans, PET scans, and things like that, motor skill tests, but the research you're putting into finding why this happens and how we can change it, whether it's gene therapy, adult stem therapy, they're actively working on this. And I can only believe that if it's going to happen, it'll happen in America with the research and initiatives that we have. It'll happen in this because of the American ingenuity that we have. And my goal is to make sure that enough money is put into those research and development programs. And it's funny being in Congress at a time when we're $17.5 trillion in debt and we're borrowing about 40 cents on a dollar, a little over that. When people come in, and we've had so many people from the University of Florida that come in wanting to make sure that money will not be cut from these programs. And they come to our office, and I just tell them, I said, listen, I'll do whatever I can to put money into research and development. We'll take it out of other areas, but we have to make sure we stay on the cutting edge of research and development. And rest assured, it's when these guys leave, they're like, we thought this was going to be a hard sale to you. I said, no, I understand the importance that we have to put that money into the development now so that we can have the cures 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it'll come around and it'll change lives for everybody. So that's where I'm at. And I think the biggest thing is when I look back over my life, anytime I saw an obstacle or a challenge, we stay positive. People ask me how I won my race, and I don't want to offend anybody here, but we ran as a Christian conservative. And I had a good friend of mine said, as I look at your life and I hear your story, you did something that a lot of people, they do, but they may not realize it. I said, what's that? He goes, you worked like it depended on you, but you prayed like it depended on a higher power. I said, for me, it did. And, I always had somebody I could reach out to and just say, when there's adversity, if we stay positive and focused, we always got through that challenge. I can't change the outcome. I can't change what's around me. I can only change how I respond to it. And so having a positive attitude always helped me doing that. And the thing that helped me have a positive attitude is my belief. The other thing is being around the people around me that were there saying, you can do this. You can do this. We'll help you. What can we help you with? And so I enjoyed the opportunity to come here, to be able to share with you. And if you have any questions, if you guys ever come by and get an opportunity to come to DC, make sure you come by our office. Love to have a moment to visit with you. We've had, like I said, we've had just a tremendous amount of people from the Gainesville area and a tremendous amount from the University of Florida, from the research departments, talking about the different diseases that we see. Parkinson is one of those. And with that, I'm going to bow out, and I hope you have a great rest of the afternoon or morning. I guess it's still morning, and you get a lot of good information. You guys take care. Thank you.